Sandra Attardo?
Yes.
Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Okay, so Moose recommended that I talk to you. And then Melissa got all excited when she met you. So what's your connection to Melissa? Something with dancing?
Yes, dancing.
So what is it?
So I was part of a creative movement dance studio, and some of her friends danced there as well. So we have mutual friends from the dance connection.
Yeah. Was it like the cheerleader type of dance?
There's also cheer, yes. There's also, I should say that too, yes. Cheerleading. My daughter cheered with Amy Chasen, who she knows, and we intertwined a lot through dance and cheer, sounds like.
How competitive is that? Because whenever she talks about it, she's like...
It's very competitive. The cheerleading is very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun and exciting, but very competitive.
But it's hardcore.
It's hardcore. It is a sport.
She yells at me whenever I've made a joke about it not being a sport. Trust me, I've had that conversation. Like was she somebody who was known in the cheer world? Because she'd come in and tell stories, and I'm like, Melissa, you sound like Bill Belichick.
She is. Especially since she was out of a local gym for a while, and Waltham is very small. We all know each other.
Yeah.
So it travels through.
And then she would play me the
music.
The music.
All the remixes.
Yes, yeah. This is what we're gonna work with, because there's guys whose entire career is making those, like the mixes.
Music mix.
The music
It's
mixes.
very intense.
For the cheer competitions.
It's like all-star team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they go crazy.
Ow, ow, ow. I like to move it.
It's a crazy
exactly
remix.
what it
It's
is.
insane. So, and you also own a salon.
I do.
Okay, and it's called
Sapphire Salon.
Sapphire Salon. So you're very busy doing a whole bunch of different things.
Very busy.
How is it owning a salon?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I like bringing people together, bringing the stylists together. We become a family. It's something you can't explain until you're like in it. It's just different people from all different walks of life coming together for the same purpose and the same passion, and it's amazing.
How long have you owned it?
I've been a business owner for 30 years. I started off, my first salon, I was 21 with a partner for about 19 years.
Yeah.
And then I left that partnership and opened the first Sapphire in a smaller location. Also
So the first business was a salon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. And then I opened the first Sapphire, which was a little bit smaller in a different location.
Yeah.
And then tail end of COVID, another local salon was closing, which was a bigger location. So I moved Sapphire into that location, and a few of the stylists from there stayed as well. So we made this amazing team from two different salons, all blending to one. And that was about 4 years ago now, almost.
And everything's going good?
It's going great.
How's the salon business model work? Because I know some people that they rent chairs to the other to the other stylists, but then there's some where the stylists are like employees.
Yes, my salon is blended. I do have 3 renters, and the rest are stylists that work for me that I pay them.
So how's the renting chair thing work? It's just like it's an empty chair unless they're using it?
It could be structured differently. You know, at our salon, we're not to say that if somebody's not using the chair that day, somebody couldn't use it for a little while, if for overflow clients, if you're double booked or something.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yes, those are their chairs. They just pay me rent, and then everything else is their own business.
So they're paying you monthly,
Yes,
and whatever they make is
theirs. But they have to supply their own products, pay their own taxes, their own insurance, all their own stuff.
Yeah.
But in my salon, you wouldn't know the difference of who's a renter and who's not.
You really wouldn't.
It's just we all work together. We're all together.
Is that sustainable for somebody to like rent chairs at a salon, like for the person who's renting it?
Yes, yeah.
For them to like make good money?
Yeah, I think this industry is amazing. What you put into it, you can get out of it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. You can work part-time, you can work full-time, you can almost manage your schedule. Like if you have to take a day off, you just get those same people in another day.
Yeah.
So it's very flexible as long as you're willing to work hard.
Yeah. And what made you get into it in the first place?
My high school had a program that I could go to hair school during high school. So my junior and senior year, I would leave my high school, and then I would go to hair school from 1 to 4 for those 2 years. So it just sounded like a great opportunity. I wasn't I didn't want to ever sit behind a desk or be limited. I wasn't looking to go to college necessarily. And I just always liked to do hair, and it was a great opportunity. So I took it.
So something you liked doing when you were little?
Yeah.
And then you had the opportunity. Why didn't you want to go to college?
Just because I wanted to do hair, I guess, truthfully. I don't really have a reason why I didn't want to go. I just knew I wanted to do hair, and it wasn't necessarily.
And nobody was pushing you, like your family or anything, to go? Or...
No.
Where'd you grow up?
In Waltham.
Okay. Also, you're a Waltham local yokel.
Yes, I am, and I love it. Yep.
You love it here?
I do.
Nice.
So what was your headspace at the time, right after graduating high school? Were you like, all right, I'll start, maybe I'll rent and I'll like learn the trade, or were you full head on? You're like, I want to own my own place.
Truthfully, renting chairs is a fairly new thing. It wasn't a thing back then, so it wasn't an option. I just went in head first. I left school and I went right into a salon. I was 17 years old because I'm young for my grade.
Yeah.
So I just started doing hair then, and I just went to a salon that had lots of walk-ins. I built up my clientele. And then I didn't set out to be a business owner, so to speak, but I was very busy behind the chair. I was working a lot. My boss at the time had asked myself and another employee who was also fairly busy, or very busy, I should say, to be managers of the salon. And we realized that we were doing all of the work of business owners, but just getting paid a commission. So we just said, oh, well, we can do this. And we did. We just, it wasn't really a lot of thought into it, truthfully.
That's how you got to do it sometimes. You just got to be young and not overthink it.
That's exactly what it was. I was so young, I didn't even know to be nervous. I just knew that I knew financially what the rent was and what I was making behind the chair in the salon. So I knew we could cover our expenses.
Yeah.
And it was Waltham to Waltham, so we figured we wouldn't lose many clients in the transition. And I just knew I could work hard. I was living at home. I didn't have a lot of bills. If the salon didn't make money, I didn't have a lot of overhead personally, so I could just put all my money into it. And luckily never had to do that. It just went great from there.
I like that. I think a lot of people get talked out of doing stuff like that when they're young by older people who are a little, beat down by life, and they start giving you. That's the way I grew up. Everything I never had encouragement. Everything was discouragement. You don't want to try that because what if this happens? What if this happens? I'm like, what if it works?
Right. Yes, exactly. And if you work hard enough, I think for the most part, it will work.
Yeah.
It can always work.
At what point did you get it successful enough where you're like, all right, I'm going to get I'm going to buy my own house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Truthfully, I think the real success of my salon now is through my new location. Before that, it was always great. It always helped with the bills, and it was great. But now it's a little bit more. I have more to invest into the salon now. So now I can cover more things like, paying for classes, or we went to New York last weekend for a hair show, and I was able to cover, take them and do that. Whereas before we'd have to be if you want to go, people would pay for themselves. I would treat for whatever I could. But this salon now, when we blended, is the one that's letting me have the ability to give back more to the salon in life.
Is your husband in the business with you, or is he doing something?
No, my husband is a builder. He owns his own business as well.
Yeah, so we got two entrepreneurs in the house.
We do. Yes.
They technically have three because your son has his own business and he's, 18?
Yes, my 18-year-old son started an epoxy flooring business.
What?
Yep. Yeah, he's still in high school. He's a senior in high school.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
That's smart. Because you and your husband, that's all he knows.
That's it.
He's like, oh.
That's what I was telling her. I was like, it's
a business.
It's like this weird, all right, mom and dad did it, I'm going to do it. And I think it's super inspiring because for you at 21, jumping into it. So what year was that when you were 21? Was this
that was 94?
So that was 94. So the salon industry in 94 is probably polar opposite to what it is now.
It is so different.
So when you look back, what was that like? It's I'll have conversations with you or other people and they're like, oh, bookkeeping was so different. Reception stuff was so different. For you, when you look at, starting off, where you say, do you think you were a bit naive walking into it and that kind of played in your favor? Because, nowadays we just type everything into a computer and it's so quick and it's done. Back then, I don't want to say it was harder, but it was way more. You had to really laser in.
It was harder, I believe. It's because don't forget, we didn't even have. We had cell phones, but they were not smartphones. We had computers, but there was not all of what we have today. And there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, social media. There was nothing that could show your work. Like now, the young ones, they come in and they build up so fast, which is amazing because they show their work. They have these platforms. And even if they start from nothing, it builds up so quickly. We were doing coupons it was called the Waltham Shopper. Like, $3 off a haircut, or just, always having cards with us and going to different places, restaurants, bars, wherever we were, and giving out our cards to people we met throughout and word of mouth is always the main thing in this industry.
Right.
So, but it was extremely different. It was not, you didn't have a platform to show off how great you are.
Yeah, it was way more.
It was like hitting the streets.
But, I think developing those skills then translates to, I don't want to say it's easier now, but
it's different.
It's different in a way that you having those skills back then definitely helps you with the way things are now.
Yes.
Because you're like, we had to go from here to here that people are doing now. You had to probably take like 3 or 4 steps.
Yes. Oh, we also put like flyers on people's windshields. Like this is like what we did.
Old school marketing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like all the things you think of, that's what we did. We like put them on people's windshields and passed them out, and the bank across the street and all the businesses that were around us, and that was.
And now girls start an Instagram page and they're like, look at the back of this lady's head.
Exactly.
I did that.
Isn't this what you want?
Yeah.
That's funny. So now you said, let's go back to your son. An epoxy flooring. Is that like the garages?
Yes, mainly garages. Showrooms have them, or basements, and it's like it's beautiful looking. You can clean it really nicely, and it just gives a really elevated look to your garage or wherever it might be, basement.
So was he doing stuff with your husband and broke off and did that, or did he just say?
No, he last summer decided that he's always wanted to have a business, and he had
awesome.
a friend from a hockey team, not from Waltham, that was doing it. So he started kind of looking into it and researching, and decided to start a company with a little business, which he did a few last year and got it going. And now that he's graduating, he's got a logo, he's got a truck, he's got he's got the legit business now. Does he have
LLC employees?
His friends, his friends.
No, but still,
it's a 2-person job, I believe. So he always has somebody with him.
Yeah, and it's funny, like he probably rolls up at that age, and some people might assume that he's the worker.
That's going to be the hard part, is people taking him seriously. But Moose has met him. He's a charmer. He's a talker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Now, do you have any other kids?
I do. My middle child, my other son, he works for a company. He's a manager for a company, but he started a snow plowing business on the side. So he also it's been 2 years now, so like 19.
Yeah.
Built up a nice snow plowing business, and he works it. He loves to be out there all night, whatever it takes. Him and a friend, 2 friends sometimes, or and he's doing great too as well.
I feel like such a terrible parent.
What?
I'm like, go to school, get your education. Now, mind you, I didn't go to school, but I'm like to my kids,
sometimes it works that way, though. It's funny. You sometimes want something different for your children, but at the same time, they have to do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And I have a daughter. My oldest is a daughter, and she is a dental hygienist. So she did go to school. So we have a mix.
Well, I 100%. If my kids came to me at any point and were like, I would like to, start this business, I'm really into it or whatever, or if I saw it, I'd invest a little money so they could do it, especially trade stuff, because people kind of look down on trades these days, but that is where the money is, because everybody is doing, and obviously computer and AI, that's where things are at. However, in the trades, what's happening is, I know this because my father-in-law is always complaining. My father-in-law is early 60s, and he's always complaining that in the trades right now, there's a lot of guys around his age, 60s, 50s or whatever, but they're starting to, age out of it. And he goes, no new talents coming in. So
really?
And he goes, and he's like, the funny thing about it is, for a lot of these kids is, when you go to learn the trades, you might go to a trade school or whatever, but then you start getting the apprenticeship or I don't know if that's the word for it. Maybe it is apprenticeship,
yeah.
but you're getting paid for it. And he was like, you don't really have any loans to pay off. And, he goes, if you do it right in your early 20s, you can start making some real money doing it. He said, but nobody's interested in doing it because they all want to. And nobody
there's
has
nothing
those skills.
more horrifying to me than spending your whole life going.
That makes me. I don't really get anxiety from too much stuff, but whenever I walk into, even here at the radio station, whenever I walk down the hall to the like where the salespeople are, and it's just cubicles, you could sense my energy tightening up because I always picture that, and I'm like, I would not be able to survive in this type of environment.
Yeah,
I
I wouldn't
can't.
either.
Yeah, I need. But some people are built like that. They're like, I want to know what I'm going to be doing the second I walk in. I want it to be the same thing every minute of every day. And I have some friends who do that. They're like, I don't want to think. I just want to go in and knock out my 9 to 5. And I'm like, cool. I respect that. But my perspective is work is such a huge part of your life at the end of the day. And I like to, for that portion of the day, I don't want to shut down. I want to kind of be invigorated or energized. And if you're doing something that you love, yeah, there are going to be things that happen that piss you off, but that's life. But then doing what you love, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And you'd be surprised. For a while, I feel like parents, educators, people were encouraging their children to go to college. It was all about college. And then they realized that there was no blue collar workers anymore. And it's, as you said, it was true. And I think now it's coming back around. There is a need for them. And there are the people like us who want to be working with our hands or moving or creative and just not behind a desk. And there's also a lot of kids that go to college and then end up in a trade or in the fire department, the police department, or things like that too. So sometimes it just takes some
Life
time
experience.
to figure out exactly life experience.
Do you remember your first big compliment or your first big thing behind the chair? Was it like a wedding? Was it like a really someone walked in with a terrible hairdo? Because you must feel some sense of you've done something for someone. When they walk in and they want to feel beautiful or confident. Do you remember kind of your first feeling of that way back when you were starting? Not way back when. Excuse me.
Thank you for correcting yourself. Honestly, what sticks out in my mind the most, and it's a little different from what you might think, is actually shaving one of my clients' heads who had cancer.
Well, okay.
That was a moment that makes you realize that, instead of watching her hair come out in clumps every day and being upset, it's just being that person that can go in just with, I closed the salon, we went in after hours, and and she actually felt great after. It was a great feeling to be able to help her in just a small way feel a little bit better, or just feel better is what it is. And it's or going to people's homes if they can't get out to the salon and just making people feel better. It's that's what my job is all about. It's the best part of my job. And every day for positive things, we do that to people. They love how they look when they leave. It's a great feeling to get your hair done. But there's also that other side, and that is those are the moments that made me realize this is amazing.
A lot of you guys do that. I feel like a lot of you guys will go out of your way and they'll go to someone's home. They'll, because for a woman, especially your hair, they say it's like your crown or whatever, and to be in that state where you're losing it and to just feel liberated, to trust someone to do it, it must put something in your heart, you know what I mean? So it must be a very rewarding thing at the end of the day for you.
It
you know
really
what I mean?
is. It is.
It's that trust. It's very come on. It's a very vulnerable thing. It's I can't even imagine that. You know what I mean? So, and also too, for you, what do you think was something that take us back to when your first business with your first partner? Were there any moments where you felt this is getting a little rough? Do I even know what I'm doing? How did you overcome, I guess, that first stump of fear? Or was there even no fear?
Truthfully, it was pretty smooth because myself and my partner were very hard workers. We had great staff and clients and everything. But, then we had the market crash was probably one of the times that was tricky because everybody was cutting back. And that was probably one of the first-ish things to go, because as much as you love having your hair done, if you got to pay your bills or your mortgage or your food or whatever. But we made it work. We just found ways to people who maybe got full foils would just get a partial foil, but we do it in enough places that you couldn't really tell. So they saved a little money and we still made some money. So it was kind of a win-win. We just figured out, taking advantage of sales for our products and things like that. And
You pivot.
just being strategic and trying to just make it through. And we did. And really that was, and then COVID.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, the most
that's a
recent
given.
one.
So really those were the only, knock on wood, really obstacles that I've had throughout my career. And just with a good team, we all worked together and we made it through it, luckily.
How, did you learn the business aspect of it kind of by trial and error, or did you have a...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Part of me is thinking I probably should have gone to a college to learn some business things and stuff, but I've always had great accountants, and
Yeah.
now my father-in-law is my accountant. He's amazing, so that worked out well too. But even before I had him, we had great people that but we, none of it was done myself. I just gave them all the information and did all the things, and it works itself out for the most part.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor at all?
Honestly, I was so young in it. I didn't know any real hairstylists in my family or anybody, so I can't really say of anybody major like in my industry that was a mentor.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's what's honestly that's the thing. I think there's few people that are in your position. Normally, you have a mentor,
Right.
Someone who teaches you, your father, your mother, someone who kind of maybe given it to you. But to kind of walk into something,
Yeah.
I don't want to say blind, but like to
It
walk
was
into
blind.
something
It was totally blind.
and just go. Sometimes people get in their own way, and you don't strike me as that person. Like you just go, and especially something during like COVID. Like, did that freak you out? Like basically the government saying like no, all shut down, no one has to come in. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. At first, it was like, okay, 2 weeks, that's kind of nice. I'm like, I can get all the little things that were on my head, like organize the salon, take it into all the little things that you just don't have time to get to. I was like, this is perfect. Like, I'm going to get all this stuff done. And I did. But then it was like 3 months. We were closed for 3 months.
Wow.
And it was hard because we have our clients reaching out to us, and they're desperate, because they're still doing Zoom calls and they're seeing themselves you see yourself, and it was not fun,
Yeah.
So we did our best we made little take-home color kits that we would leave outside the salon. We'd do like a pickup time. They could just grab it and then color it themselves at home. We did little like surprise beauty bags to again, we would either drop off or they would come by to pick up outside, and just to keep, mainly the coloring was to keep our clients, feeling good about themselves and happy, but everything else was just not to really make money because it wasn't much, but just to stay connected, to stay like, we're still here, we're going to be here. It's rough for all of us, but like, let's just be in this together,
Yeah.
So.
And was it booming when you guys first jumped back in?
It was, and we did a lot of, we were open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
We could only work every other chair because we had to be 6 feet apart, and
Right.
we couldn't double book. So that was, we all worked a lot of hours the days that we did work, and just got everybody in. And then little by little, we got back to regular, able to work. We opened Mondays and stayed open Mondays actually since COVID. So that was a positive thing that came out of it for us.
One of the few hair salons that are open on Mondays.
Yes.
Why is Monday, Sunday, and Monday the
Because Saturday is one of the busiest days. So
Yeah.
if you want to have a weekend, it's 2 days off would be Sunday and Monday. So
Okay.
because we work Saturdays always.
Yeah. It's so funny you were saying all the stuff you did for people during COVID, because I think a lot of other services that people cut back on, they were just kind of like, whatever. But there's something about the relationship more with a woman and the person that cuts their hair. Like to the point where I've had female friends who've gotten out of relationships with their boyfriends easier than the woman that cuts it. They're like, oh man, I'm moving, and I'm like, all right, now, but I can't go to my hairstylist anymore. It's too far, and I'm like, all right, so find a new one. You don't understand. We have a relationship.
It's true. It's true. I have clients that I've had almost since the beginning. I mean, people before I was married, before I had kids, like a majority of my clients have watched my children grow up, so it's, and vice versa. And we hear, we're there for the good, bad, and the ugly for everybody. We hear it all. And
Yeah.
it's very hard. And it's hard for us when we see our clients having to leave because they move away. And it's sad. It's really sad.
Me and my barber have a very, very special relationship. I wouldn't label it as just a woman. If
Mostly, predominantly.
me and Eduardo, we already have a pact. We're in it for life. So seeing him after this. So
I think the difference is with men's hair, like if your hair is cut too short or not great, and really in 2 weeks you can get it like buzzed up a little bit more and fixed up. If your if your hair is long and it's gone for a year.
yeah, it's gonna take a while, or if it's dyed incorrectly.
Yeah. Coloring is fixable easier, but still not fun.
I like because your story is you got into it like, I'm gonna use the word naive, but in the most positive way ever. That you were just like, I'm gonna try this thing and let's see what happens.
It's exactly what it was.
You took action. A lot of people like they what is it? Analysis paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
They start thinking too much, talking themselves out of doing things, and you're just like, let me just do this.
Yeah. Just go for it. It's like, what can go wrong?
And you're and you're also too, you're not like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when you meet some business people, like entrepreneurs or something, and they're like, stop complaining, just go out and do it and live your life. Like, you know what I mean? You're very just like, what's like a day in the life for you when you're not working? Is it all business all the time, or are you do you have like your routine? Like you wake up, I'm stealing your favorite question. He loves to ask that question.
What's the routine?
My routine is up early, usually by 6-ish. My favorite time is have my coffee. Like I have my coffee, I open my computer, I check my banking, I pay my bills, and just no one's awake yet. And then I get my family out the door, and I sometimes go for a run. Usually just errands, and it's always some salon stuff in the background, or phone calls, or we need change, or whatever. Yeah. I don't have a very it's a very flexible schedule. I am behind the chair still, so I work 2 really long days doing hair, but the rest of it's more the business stuff or home life stuff. But
when do you and your husband get time together, considering he has his own business too?
Usually the weekends. Like we love to have friends over, entertain, or go to dinner. But the weekends is usually we try to do family time. And Now, when you met him, did he already have his own business, or? So we both went to high school together. He went to the vocational school. I went to the regular high school.
Oh my God, you are straight Waltham.
I know.
You are Waltham. Like if she leaves the borders of Waltham, like she starts feeling hot.
It's so true.
She's like, I'm in Newton. I gotta go back.
It is so true. It is so true. So we both are, we were friends in high school, but we didn't date till like 5 years after high school.
Yeah.
And he did have his business already, and I had my business already. His business back then was a landscape business, which he grew into landscape construction and now also building. So, but yeah, we both, when we started dating, we both did already have our businesses.
Yeah. And what's your venting sessions like when you're venting about each other's businesses?
So it's funny because we don't understand each other's businesses. So like I get frustrated with his things, and he gets frustrated with mine. He oftentimes tries to give me advice, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. And that he's very smart, but in my world is just different. It's not the construction site. It's very different. So we do not help each other out that way, I don't think.
Well, his is much more, I would say, like scientific versus creative, I guess.
Yeah, yes. His is lots of, permits and how big something can be or how it has to be structured, and working through, things that are not going properly. You got to rearrange it and figure it out. And he's also like one lump sum paycheck, where like my stuff is different. It's like weekly stuff, and I have to order products, and I have to, it's so structured so differently that he shouldn't understand it, and I shouldn't understand his, because it's so confusing.
Yeah. So who does your son come to more when he has business issues? Does he go your way or your husband's way?
My husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's closer to the same kind of work, so to speak.
Right.
And then, it's his dad. He looks up to him and all that he's done. And not that he doesn't respect me, he does as well, but they do like truck stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good way to describe it.
She's like, they do truck stuff.
They come home and their hands are dirty, and you're like, don't get that. I can't get my hands dirty.
Exactly, yes.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So what was the biggest failure that you learned from?
That's a good question. I don't know, failure. Just I don't know if I had any exact failure, so to speak, but I just think through the years I've just learned to not be like judgmental to people or understand people better. And you don't know what's behind somebody and why they're acting that way or what they're doing. And it was just an eye opener just through different things that like you can't always judge somebody or think that they don't know what they're talking about or getting frustrated, because you just need to teach them or include them and like just be more patient with people and understanding and treat people how you want to be treated. I live by that. So I always think of that. So just along the ways, I wouldn't say there's any failures, but I think I've learned a lot through just behaviors of my own that maybe afterwards I realized, oh, that was kind of mean or that wasn't the right thing to do. You know, you learn through mistakes, I guess. And that's
A lot of trial and error type of things,
yeah.
but not like one big giant I have to pivot type of situation.
Knock on wood. No.
Yeah.
That's really good. Now, what about your husband?
He had a year when the market crashed. It was like he had built 2 condos that weren't selling and nobody was doing patios, walkways, and walls. And, you know, he had owed money from the previous house that sold the tax. It was just a nightmare. And it was pretty scary. Like we almost had to sell our house and all the things. But he's such a hard worker and he's so strong. He got through it. That was the one eye opener. Like, you got to save for a rainy day. You need to make sure your finances are together, because it's not going to always money doesn't just keep coming in.
Right.
You know, you can always make money. You know, you can't get time back, but you can make more money. But you got to also be smart about it and be prepared.
Okay, so I'm a young hairstylist. I'm coming to you, and I'm saying, hey, I want to start my own business. What are your lessons that you're gonna impart on me before I do it? Or are you just gonna say go for it and you'll learn as you go? Or
No, I would definitely say you need to, especially if you're not doing hair at all, you know, you really need to build up a clientele before you go off and start your own business. This is the first thing I would suggest. Work somewhere, learn as much as you can, you know, educate yourself as much as you can. And then when you do your numbers, you know, when you know you're making enough money to be able to cover all of what the bills will be, and then make sure you have at least 3 months worth of what the bills would be in a savings somewhere, because you never know. And then just be prepared to work hard.
What amount of clientele do you think is like the minimum before somebody could break off and do their own thing?
I would say you should be consistently pretty booked. You know, you don't want to have spaces in your schedule. You don't want to be able to like leave early a couple of days a week. You know, you really should be consistently busy.
So like 30 people, 50? I don't know.
I don't.
What about you? Okay, think about when you were going to break off and you were looking at the numbers. Like how were your clients?
This is where I should have gone to college for business, because I never tracked that stuff. I just did it. I don't even know how many clients I had. I knew I had a lot of clients. I just knew I had enough clients and I brought enough money, but I honestly had no idea how many.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. But times are different. Like now we have computer systems that track that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I had a book with a pencil that we made appointments with and wrote and erased, you know, and moved. Yeah. And now it's must
have been a nightmare if there was a mistake.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, can you imagine? It's that big book and the appointments are wrong. Or
my mother does like the accounting for like a fruit distributor, like for restaurants and all that stuff, and it's still very much like that. So when she came in, she would look at the numbers and be like, what the hell? There's people that owe you money. And he was like, I don't know how to do this stuff. That's why I hired you. And then my mother's like super anal. So she's like, you're $17. Like the littlest things where, you know, her boss, who by the way was a guy who I went to high school with.
Oh my gosh.
For 1 year. It was like the 9th grade. But that stuff that he's like, that's not a big deal. And my mother's like, it is a big deal. They owe you money. I'm going to get it for you. But it's funny how some people, they just kind of like make it happen. When I was, because I didn't go to school, right? And I'm like, damn, I want to learn kind of business. All I know from business is what I've done in my life. So there was 1 year where I'm like, I want to like learn like to have a business. So a friend of mine that I was working with at the time, he would always come in. I'd come into the studio, and he had a little laptop next to him. And I thought he was, I don't know, doing work, watching porn. I don't know what I thought he was doing. But one day I kind of looked, and all I saw was a ton of washing machines on his laptop.
Oh, yeah.
I go, what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I own a laundromat. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, this is my security. You got to get into this. This is so easy. And I was like, okay, a laundromat. That sounds like not a tough business to like if you want to get started, right? Mm-hmm. So I bought a laundromat. It was like a self-serve, and it was doing all right, but I was like, yeah, but I want to like learn business. So now I started hiring people. We started doing wash, dry, fold. Mm-hmm. We started delivering and doing stuff for like businesses and hospitals nearby. And then the closest laundromat that was I guess a competitor, they went out of business because the building they were in, the guy raised their rent astronomically. Mm-hmm. So they were like, screw her out. So then I started getting more customers. And anyway, and it was doing, I guess, all right for a laundromat. I don't even know. Mm-hmm. I had nothing to compare.
You didn't go to business school either.
I had nothing to compare it to, but I'm like, okay, I mean, I'm making more monthly than I'm putting out. So it was doing all right. But then it got to the point where, so like doing all those things, I kind of was seeing, you know, the little bit, like if you did a graph of it, I would see like the growth. And then it kind of started going like this, staying flat. And it was because it got to the point where I realized I don't have a passion for laundry. No, like, because it was, to grow it, it would have to be doing little things now where you really have to like you really love what you're doing. So you're probably, without even realizing it, you know, the little sales, doing this, things of that nature. And it was, those are the things that I had to do to grow it. But I realized, I'm like, I don't care about laundry that much to do it. So I sold the business. Mm-hmm. And everyone, you know, who knew me was like, why'd you do that? That's so stupid. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't have a passion for it. I didn't really care. And I'm like, I know that somebody could get that and make it even a better business if they actually cared about it. Mm-hmm. For me, it was like an experiment. And the experiment was, let me see if I could grow this thing. And I did. And then I was like, all right, time to move on. But you, because you have a passion for what you do, you're doing all those little things. I don't know what they are, but I don't know.
Ask me.
Yeah, 2-for-1 shampoo. I don't know what it is, but
literally, I think that's what's going on right now.
Is it?
Yeah, I think that's literally what's going on.
But those are the things that you do, and you're doing it without even realizing it. And that's business. You know,
it's business, and this industry is. I do believe it's different than any other. We're almost like a cult. Like, hairstylists are so passionate, and we all.
Oh yeah,
we're all so passionate about it. Like, and the ones who aren't don't. They might work 1 or 2 years or 5 years or whatever, and they just go to do something else. Like, and it's like it's all we want to think about. Like, even when we're home, ask any of we're on hair pages, like our Instagrams or our TikToks. It's all hair stuff. It's all hair stuff.
She will text me throughout the week, just like random things. She's like, "What do you think about this? Should we post this? How about this?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever you want." She's like, "Okay, like zhuzh it up and I'll like make it."
Can you make this?
I'll make it blue because that's the thing. And she's like, "Parent," she'll post out of nowhere. I'm like, "Are you watching TV or are you working? Like, can you like just chill?" And or your mind's always on the clock.
Always going.
So how's it work? Is it like, do you for hairstyles and stuff like that, for trends? Do you go to conventions and learn the newest techniques, or do you see, I don't know, whoever the big names are, as
Paul Mitchell, whatever.
Yeah, like see what they're doing, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna start doing that.
As far as like hairstyles, usually it comes from TV, like you know, like those big famous stylists style. So, like for years, it was Jennifer Aniston's haircut from Friends, like back in the 90s. That was like everybody. Yeah. So those trends, they come through, and that's where. And most of the time, once you have the fundamentals of hair cutting, you know how to do those styles for the most part. But we do always go to classes and have in salon classes and learn different techniques from different educators and just little tips and tricks and stuff. And that just keeps it fresh and fun and exciting.
So you're like watching a TV show and you see like a hairstyle and you go, oh, I could do that. Like, do you practice on a dummy's head before you try it on a human, or do you
usually on each other at the salon?
Really?
Yeah, if it's really something. Yeah.
It's almost like tattooists.
Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
here, try this new thing on me, and it comes out terrible. It's stuck on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little different. I mean, hair will grow.
What's like? Is there a trend going on right now? Is there something that you see a lot of girls like doing right now? Is it like certain color, certain haircut?
Right now, I would say we're still in the balayage phase where it's the highlights and.
I was gonna say you gotta
and
explain. I was gonna say I still don't even know what a balayage is properly.
It's a form of highlighting. It's just all the curled hair. It's like just applied a little bit differently. It's the way to get to the highlight.
Yeah, and it's called
blonde. Balayage.
Balayage. I have not heard that word.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
It takes a long time. It's a lot of work,
really?
yeah.
Like 3 hours.
Yeah.
If
And then the flip side, then it's like, let's make my hair black. So that's kind of that always comes in, sneaks in a little bit.
is that true? Is making someone's hair black really hard?
It's not necessarily. No, it's not hard to make it black. It's hard to get it out. If you want to go from black back to blonde.
Oh, really? So like, if you
really
wanted
hard.
to go in right now and dye your hair jet black, would you be
No
able to walk
problem.
out?
Yes, that could be in a half hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going darker to lighter is the hard part.
Going darker to lighter. So someone with black hair going blonde, that's gonna take a couple appointments.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Is that the one that like could burn your hair off? I've seen people like go to when they go
Bleach
to.
will do the damage really if you're not careful with it.
Yeah. Have you ever messed up cutting someone like?
Oh yeah, I'm
dying
sure.
or-
Yes. I mean, no one's perfect.
But no. I'm talking about like messed up. I'm talking about like they started crying in the chair, messed up.
No, not crying because I would be crying too. But yes, that would be the worst. No, but again, not to the point where something wasn't fixable or people were like, all right, like let it grow out a little bit or I mean, there's been times that the color just did not come out proper, but you can fix it right then and there. It takes another hour or 2 hours, whatever it might take, but
Yeah.
it's fixable. But it's like, okay, let's fix this color. It didn't come out right, or it looks they didn't like it, or whatever. You can fix that.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. Sometimes the color tones don't come out right or something like that. But
You have 2 daughters, you said, right?
one daughter, 2 sons.
1 daughter, 2 sons. Did you ever try and get any of your kids into your business?
No, because my daughter always wanted to do something with teeth. She wanted to be a dentist or a hygienist, which she is from 7th grade. So she
Really?
always wanted to do that. And the boys, they both took the vocational, like electrical at their school. So they were more tradesy, like that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So they can come and
just-
fix your place up whenever
they
you
could
need
do
it.
that, yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. And you cut their hair.
That's it.
And then the daughter does the teeth. I mean, this family doesn't have to spend money on any outside stuff. Your husband's building stuff. Your kid's doing the electricity.
No, but generally, like, what do you think it is? Because it's clearly a trend in your family. Have you ever sat and thought, like, what is it? Is it the we keep using the word naive, but like I'm trying to think of a better word. Is it genuinely just like having a thought and executing and it manifesting? Like, do you think that's generally something you kind of like are subconsciously like living back? Because it's like you, your husband, your children. Have you ever sat back and thought like, wow, I wonder what's this vibe going on that everyone is kind of taking from,
Yeah. I really haven't thought about it, but I would think because when you're in the trades, it's like obviously more beneficial to be your own boss, to be your own business owner. So if they were going to be an accountant or a lawyer or whatever, you could still be working under somebody and make a great living. But a lot of times when you're in that like trades industry, it's worth it to be your own boss. So I think that's maybe just because they were trades kids. They just went that route.
Yeah, and many women, I would say too, I think the percentage is like 39% of women are business owners now in 2025, which I'm sure it's still low, but I'm sure is much higher than it was back in the day. What's it to you, like when you having your daughter and she's, your oldest, do you feel a sense of pride like mom owns her own business and is her own boss and you can do that too? Is that something kind of
I pride myself on working hard, and I want my kids to see that I work hard. It's not necessarily being a owner, because everybody can be successful in whatever they do. You don't need to be a business owner, but I just want them to see me working hard and just, doing all the things that need to be done. And, sometimes not feeling your best, you still got to put a smile on and go to work. It's not, you just got to, play your cards right, work hard. And I just want them to see that energy. Like you have to give it your all. Just just do it.
You know what I'm really taking away from this is that genuinely, like, I think people really do get in their own ways. Because it's like, we've had so many different people of walks in life. They're, and everyone's journey is different. Their businesses have shut down. They've had to start from nothing, whatever. But it's like, generally what I keep absorbing from you is literally just start. Like, literally just go. And just be open to learn and like absorb as much as you can, and like just do your best, like genuinely, because it's like we're fishing. We're like, what happened here and this and that, and you're like, generally, I got up, I did it, and I'm successful, and here I am. And I think that might be a missing piece in a lot of people's life, is just to start. What do you think?
100% agree. And I think the reason that your kids are the way they are is because like literally that's all they saw growing up. So there's so many things you always want to like teach your kids, but they pick up what you just do unconsciously on a daily basis. So they were growing up. Like I grew up, and the one thing I picked up from my parents was work ethic. Like they worked hard, but they were always working they were always employees. So growing up, I was always like, oh, okay, I guess I'm good. And not just my parents, just the extended family and friends, everybody who I was around, that was just their situation. So growing up, I was just always thinking, okay, I will be working for somebody. I never had anybody who did it the other way or came to me and was like, no, you could actually be the person that people work for. You could be doing your own thing. That didn't even cross my mind.
I was the same. I was in the same boat.
Yeah. But you got out of it, and now your kids are growing up, and they're just, I mean, I don't know if they ever verbalized it, but they probably were just like, all right, so one day I'm going to have a business and keep it going from there. Like they weren't thinking of I hope I work for this company one day. They were probably just like, what company am I going to start? And you didn't sit them down and go, hey, this is what you need to do. They just saw that because day in and day out, you and your husband were doing that. All of a sudden your kid's 18 and he's doing it. And that's phenomenal. And I love your attitude because like you said, it's just very start, do it. You're going, oh, this is happening. Okay, let me pivot here and get back on track and do this. And there's no hard, oh no, let me start over. Oh no, maybe this isn't for me. You just kind of got into it and you were like, this is what I want to do. And I'm going to do it.
I feel like the same way.
Yeah, and you looked at the things that at the time, you're like, all right, I'm at the point where I'm making more money than, I'm making enough money for this. And I figure I'll grow it. Let's do it. That's impressive because I think a lot of people, especially when it's something that they like to do and they're like, oh, let me start a business doing it. They kind of forget that there's a lot of stuff involved behind the scenes with that business. And they're just thinking, oh, I'll be doing this thing all the time because it's my business. And then they start doing it and they're like, oh crap, I got to pay the light bill. Oh crap, I got to do math.
Yes.
Oh crap, it's not, depending on the business, it's not, you might have a business where people have to get their hair done and stuff like that. But some people have businesses where they're a little bit more of a dispensable income type of business. So as much as you love it, not everybody out there is going to be, some people may be like, yeah, I love doing that, but I don't have the money for it. And you can't convince them to come doing it. Like, it's not like a need. It's an extra thing. So, and they get discouraged and they're like, oh, this business isn't for me. But you kind of, you have a whole different attitude. I love that.
Yeah. You just have to, anything you do in life, this is what, back to my children and their careers and their occupation, whatever you do, just be the best at it and work the hardest at it. Whether you're a business owner, you're working for someone, just always, like, the work ethic is what, I guess the word was I was looking for earlier, I couldn't find. That's what I want to teach my kids. And that's what I want to teach anybody, like, my stylists that come in or anybody. It's just where you can, sometimes there are things out of your control. Like, we've seen this through COVID, which is horrible. There's been people who loved their business and they were passionate and they did all the hard work, and then it just was taken away from them. Like, it just happened, sadly. But other than that, there's going to be bumps in the road everywhere, but you have to just figure out how to get around them, how to move forward, how to get past it, and just work hard and figure it out. and just be the best you can be and be happy at your job. That's the key, I think, is loving what you do, being passionate about it, and
Even on the bad days.
even on the bad days.
Yeah.
Because there's way more good days than bad days. And if there's not, then you need to find another career path, because working is like most of our life. It's the biggest part of our day.
100%.
You should be happy there.
And enjoy the journey. I think a lot of times people will get into something and go, and then one day I'm going to be at this magical spot where I'm going to be super rich and, my life is going to change. And it's like, yeah, but you're willing to like do something that you hate in hopes of this magical day that might happen. It's enjoy the journey. I'd rather be like, yeah, you know what? Okay, I didn't become a billionaire, but I loved for 35 or whatever years that I was doing this thing. I loved going into work every day,
And you build probably a great life for yourself too. Maybe you weren't a billionaire, but
Yeah.
you build a great life with what you have, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about a second location? Has that ever been an idea, or are we?
Or adding more, getting a huge warehouse and just calling it the Sapphire Emporium.
That would be fun. I'm definitely wanting to grow the business for sure. Like more stylists, more help. It's just I don't know about a second location, but if we built it up to a point where we were
On the other side of
Filling out,
Waltham, because
On
we
the
know
other
she
side of
Other side of
Waltham.
Waltham.
she's
Yeah.
not going anywhere else.
That's it. Nope.
It's funny because with hairstylists too, I think when you in this business, it's very unique where no matter how many employees you have kind of have a relationship with all of them. Whereas I know some business owners who are like, yeah, I have employees. I know these guys, but some of these I don't really know, but everybody.
We know everybody, and we have a group text that goes off like probably more often than it should. We're constantly in connection, constantly talking, and we have our youngest stylist is in her 20s and our oldest is in her 60s, and we have everybody in between and all different. Everybody is so different, wouldn't you agree? But also great. Like we all actually really enjoy each other. We're all friends, I would say. Like beyond just co-workers, we're friends too.
Yeah. What do you look for in an employee? Like if somebody was brand new, like out of hair school.
So you have to be kind. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
You can teach skills. You can teach all of what you need to teach, but you have to be kind and caring. Just a people person. That's the number one for me.
Do you get girls out of hair school? Is that how it works, or do you get somebody who's already kind of
different ways?
Yeah.
It just sometimes it just happens. Like if someone's looking for a change, or a salon's closing, or and sometimes in this industry just a change. Sometimes, or if leadership in their salon is changed and they're not happy, or then we do get some out of school looking for a place to start.
Yeah. And so with those, do you kind of say, okay, I'm gonna pay more attention to what you're doing to make sure you're doing it right for techniques and things like that? Or
They start off as an assistant, so they're working with you, next to you, learning, and then they'll bring in their own models, and we'll, help them do a haircut or a color, whatever it might be, and we have mannequins in the back they can practice on if it's slow, or so they grow as they go. They learn and grow.
Yeah. So look at this. You have this whole program. Never went to business school, and she has like this whole. You have a development program.
I guess so. It
is. It's like a tattoo. It's like a tattoo shop. It's like a sushi chef.
You want to know the first thing I told Sandra before we started working together? What? I was like, I just want to be very flat out with you. I have zero interest in this industry, but like I'm a hard worker. I'm willing to learn. She said, "Great.
Wow,
let's go."
What a way to sell yourself.
I was just very flat out honest with her because I knew it was her. But I was like, I have zero interest. I don't know anything about this world. I was like, but I know I work hard and I can learn fast.
Yeah.
She said, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
So you just like applied one day, or was it like a referral?
it was through a friend.
Yeah.
Another job fell through. Friend felt bad. She said, I know someone. We met, went to Dunkin' Donuts. We sat down. Conversation was not even 5 minutes. She said, okay, I'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which Dunkin' Donuts?
In Waltham.
In Waltham.
Literally 2 doors down from the salon.
It is. We drink a lot of coffee.
To right there. Oh yeah, we're in there frequently. But
yeah.
So what do you see in young Moose over here? What are his positives
He's
and negatives?
Amazing. There's no negatives. He's amazing. He hit the ground running. He came in, like he said, scheduling appointments is very hard. I mean, let's face it, answering the phones and sweeping up, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But scheduling people's appointments is very tricky to learn how to do. And he got it like I've never seen anybody pick it up so quickly. And he's not allowed to ever leave us.
Wow.
He's great. We love him. We love having the male energy, first of all, because it's all females other than him.
Yeah.
But he does it. He deals with us well, and he's a hard worker. He's always on time, always willing to help, kind and caring.
Yeah.
Fits
Very,
all the,
very
checks
important.
all the boxes.
Kind of caring.
Fits all the boxes.
You don't know yet. Maybe this is something that
A hair career is
We're
down the
thinking.
future?
We're thinking we're getting him closer.
One of the hairstylists.
Why are you saying it like that?
One
You
of the
never know.
hairstylists become me.
You never
A
know.
hairstylist who works for her, she always says like, "Go to hair school."
Yeah.
I'm like, but I don't have a passion for it. That's the thing. And she's just like, "You'd make so much money here," and I'm like,
No, you just haven't touched the right head yet.
That's it.
And then
I haven't, like in that movie Zohan, where he like cuts the hair for the first
Yeah.
time, and it's like this
Yeah.
euphoric
The
feeling.
angels,
Or you might be like,
I just have to cut the mannequin once.
Yeah.
You might be like Ratatouille. Like one day you'll be seeing somebody do someone's hair and you walk over, you're like, no, that's not how you do it. And then you start doing it and then you realize that you're a rat that should be under a hat
Tell
control.
them how to do a balayage. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, this is how you do the balayage. I've been watching it all week. Trust me. You never know.
But I will say though, your guys are on your feet.
Oh yeah.
I've seen some of them not even like take a break from like 9 to 7.
Yeah.
Really?
Like back, they might have like generally like 2 minutes. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I watch and I'm like some of them I've been
Often.
very strategic to give them like 30-minute breaks. Like I've been like noticing, so I'll like when I book them, I will like make sure I'm like, you need a minute to like breathe and eat. No, I'm being dead serious. Like I see, and it's like you can see it. It's like they're trying to put on a good face. We can tell they're getting burnt out and tired. Yeah. It's a lot. You're moving and you're talking 9 to 7. You don't stop.
That's when the coffee comes in. When there's no time to eat, we just send Moose. Can you do a Dunkin's run?
Nice. All right, final questions here. Random questions. What's something you wish you were better at?
Being more direct.
Being more direct. Okay. Favorite quote?
Everything happens for a reason.
I like that. It's true.
It's very true.
It is true. That people get mad when I say that. They're like, that's the typical cliche. And I said, well, sometimes it's not connected like you're going to see the reason right away.
It takes some time, but it always comes around. I fully believe in it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. A skill that you wish you could immediately have. Like if you could wake up tomorrow with a whole new skill developed, what would it be?
A math skill. I'm very bad at math, and I feel like it would be very helpful if I
You've
could
gotten
do
that a
things in
couple
my head.
times.
Yeah, math is not. And that's one thing that like it's embarrassing if you're like, oh, trying to like figure it out in your head and
Yeah, trust me.
struggles too much with it.
If you could time travel to the past or the future, you can only pick one. Where are you going? What do you want to see? And you cannot impact whatever happens. You can just witness an event. Like if you're going in the past, you're just witnessing something. In the future, you're just witnessing it.
Okay, let's see. In the future. Oh God, this is a tough question. I think I would go to the past and see my parents' childhood.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real
Yeah.
good. Yeah, my parents told me about their childhood, and I'm like, wow, you grew up so freaking different.
Yes.
You know? Although that's a great one, I'm still going back to when the pyramids were built because I need to know the truth.
That is, yeah,
I need to know the
that's
truth.
a really amazing one too. Yeah.
I just can't see a bunch of people dragging these massive stones
and
for
getting them
miles.
up so high.
Yeah.
How do they get them up there?
Yeah, and talking about math, it's not like back then somebody was going, hold on a second, let me make sure that that's geographically and the
It's not going to come crumbling
the
down.
geometry. Yeah, no, they were like drawing it in the sand.
Last week, they released a news article. They did like a topography scan of the pyramid. So basically, it's like an echo thing, and they could see what's in it and what's under it.
That's
And he has lost his mind because they have found structures under the pyramids.
Well, there was an update to that.
yes.
There was
where
an update. What happened?
They said that the technology wasn't
Accurate.
it wasn't good enough to see like that deep, and it's not true. It's
Not true.
I still think, I don't care what you say. I just no. There is the pyramids, the story of how the pyramids were built is not true. It's just not. Have you ever seen Independence Day, the alien movie? Okay. Well, you are like my wife. She goes, no, I don't watch scary things. And I'm like, that's what's so scary?
No, I was telling Moose about a movie that was about aliens.
You know that Nicolas Cage movie, Knowing?
I haven't seen it, but I know
she was like, I watched it with my kids, and the ending I'm like, the ending wasn't like, it was freaky.
It was terrible.
I was like, it wasn't a scary movie.
Yeah, that's the one where he could like see things in advance, right?
Yeah.
You know what?
I just wish I could unwatch it. I was like, well, I don't. What
Oh
did I
my
just
God,
watch?
you really
That
are
was
like my
terrible.
wife.
Yeah.
She'll watch a commercial for something and get scared, and I'm like, that's not even a commercial for a scary movie.
What's the thing you said you cried about? You're like, if I watch this
I was gonna say. So I can't watch scary things, and I also can't watch sad things because I don't like to. So I cry. I cry at The Voice when somebody like gets voted off. I'm like crying if like. I cry.
If somebody gets voted off a reality show?
Like off of like The Voice when she sings and like somebody else, they pick the other person. I like sometimes cry. The person who lost.
I sometimes cry.
So bad for the people.
No, but there was something you told me not too long ago. You were like, have you seen this movie? And you're like, during this one part, was it Bridesmaids?
Oh no, I feel bad for. Oh, so this is the other thing. I feel bad for people. So in Bridesmaids, I love the movie. It's hilarious, but I can't stop feeling bad for the girl, like the best friend who's not the rich one.
Kristen Wiig. Have you seen Bridesmaid?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig.
I feel bad
The
for
main
her.
character.
Yes, I feel bad for her throughout the whole movie because she's like, I'm embarrassed for her most of the time, and I feel bad that like.
She can't afford the first class ticket.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It makes me so sad. I feel bad. So I can't like I liked the movie. It was hilarious, but I sometimes don't want to watch it because I just feel bad for her.
Bridesmaids is on my list of movies where like the main character is actually the bad guy if you look at it in at a different perspective. Like have you heard about the Karate Kid theory?
What's that?
Where Daniel LaRue, have you seen Karate Kid movie? The movie. You never seen the movie Karate Kid?
I mean,
But it's too
the
scary
old one
for you?
in the 80s? Oh, yes. I've seen yes.
Scary.
But there's-
He gets beat up the poor guy.
Well, that was sad.
Yeah. Did you see Karate Kid?
Of course.
On the one
so-
leg when he's like bleeding. And
Yeah. Okay. So there's a theory, and if you do see it, if you look at it from a different perspective, Daniel's the bad guy. There were so many times in that movie where, yes, Johnny messed with him and stuff, but then he like kind of left him alone, and then Daniel would restart the whole beef.
To prove himself.
No, like the time that Johnny was token up in the bathroom and he's dressed, and Daniel messed with him. Yeah. He didn't have to do. If he didn't do that, they wouldn't have beat him up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And on the beach that time too, he was messing with Johnny's girl. Like rewatch the movie.
Johnny's girl wanted him.
Daniel was
Daniel's trying to play soccer.
Listen, if you watch that movie, there's a whole YouTube thing on it. Watch the YouTube on Daniel being the bad guy, and you'll look at it and go, "Damn, he kind of is like he's not necessarily like the best guy." But anyway, Bridesmaids, same thing with Kristen Wiig. I'm like, she's not like this innocent. Okay, she's. You could see in one way where she's the victim, but I would never say she's innocent. She's competing with the other chick.
She's trying to keep up.
Yeah, she's trying to keep up. She's doing things that is messing with her friends just to kind of keep up and show off. She's not the great person in that movie.
Listen, her bakery shut down. All right, she just wanted to enjoy her friend's wedding.
And then this other person took her best friend away.
And Rose Byrne came in and just ruined her life.
She wasn't great to that Irish cop. Like, she's not a great girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, that was sad.
Just saying. Anyway, okay. One more. What movie have you watched the most times?
The Wizard of Oz. Wizard
of Oz? Oh, Sandra.
I know it's the truth.
I've never been a fan of that movie. Can I just say?
Oh my gosh, it's my favorite.
That's probably the movie that if you said what movie have you seen the most that you don't know why because you're not a fan of it, it would be Wizard of Oz. Mm-hmm. Because I still to this day I always argue. I go, whoever came up with that movie was just really high, and they said, and every idea they came with, they were just like, why not just throw it all in the movie? Mm-hmm. You know?
Did The Witch not horrify you as a child?
Strangely enough, no,
Really?
but I won't watch like Wicked because I feel like that's. Because it's
why you don't want to know where the secondary characters went to college, which is what Wicked is.
This is way more than that.
Yeah, no,
really,
it is.
It's literally where did the secondary characters from Wizard of Oz go to college?
That's the baseline. There's so much more that arises from that.
At what point when you were watching Wizard of Oz were you like, man, I really want to know where that lady who died?
No, I wanted to know, is she actually wicked? Or did society paint her as wicked? And that's what Wicked is about.
Really? That's what you thought?
You didn't see the play before you see the movie. You gotta see
the play.
You see the okay.
I enjoyed the Broadway play. I'm not a fan of musicals though, and I saw the movie and I fell asleep because I don't like musicals. Movie musicals. Okay. I like Broadway. I could do music and Broadway.
So you saw the Broadway show. So then
I enjoyed the Broadway show, but I didn't go because I went because my wife and I were going to New York, and her friend was like, "Oh, you guys, we want to see something on Broadway. Go see Wicked." And I go, "What's Wicked? I keep hearing about it. It's a story about the Wicked Witch of the West." And I'm like, "What's the story? She got a freaking building landed on her. She died. The end." And they said, "No, it's
that's
like
what you think."
And they go, "No, it's like how she became like that." And anyway, I went to go see it, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." But I never, at any point,
you didn't get chills when she defied gravity. You weren't like, damn, I could take on the world.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I wish I was green.
That's not okay. All right.
Sandra, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Continued success. People learned a lot of great lessons, and maybe lead Moose into a career.
We could be a barber. We could have a nice barber on this.
Oh.
That's what we're lacking. That's what we need.
Why is there not a barber hairstylist hybrid type of situation somewhere?
There is.
Are there?
There's going to be Moose.
And you will see it at Sapphire Salon.
Yes.
That could be something that evolve.
That's our next venture.
Sandra, tell everybody where we can find you.
75 3rd Ave.
In Waltham. We know.
All Waltham. Very conveniently located right off the highway, literally.
How close are you? You don't have to tell me your address, but how close is your house to work?
I'm one exit up, so I get to work in like under 8 minutes.
Of course. Of course. All right. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you so much.